When I say brainwash, I don't mean in any negative sense. I'm talking about cleansing your mind of the limiting beliefs, the negative programming, and the self-defeating thoughts that have been holding you back. I'm talking about installing new, empowering beliefs that will propel you toward the life you desire and deserve. The power of your mind. Let me tell you something profound. Your life is a reflection of your thoughts. What you think about most of the time is what you become. That's not just some feel-good philosophy. It's a fundamental truth about how human beings operate. Most people go through life never realizing that they have complete control over their thoughts. They're like boats without rudders, drifting wherever the currents of circumstance take them. They react to life rather than creating it. But extraordinary people, successful people, they understand something different. They understand that the mind is like a fertile garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. Plant weeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, and that's what you'll harvest. Plant seeds of possibility, opportunity, and success, and that's what will flourish. The difference in your life 5 years from now will be determined by two things: the books you read and the people you associate with. Why? Because these are the primary inputs that shape your thinking, and your thinking shapes everything else. The mind is your servant, not your master. Your mind is an incredible servant, but a terrible master. Most people have it backward. They let their minds control them instead of them controlling their minds. Think about it. How many times have you been kept awake at night by thoughts you couldn't shut off? How many opportunities have you missed because your mind convinced you that you weren't good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough? How many times has fear of failure stopped you from even trying? That's what happens when your mind is the master. But it doesn't have to be that way. You see, your mind is designed to solve problems, to find solutions, to create pathways to your goals. But you have to program it correctly. You have to give it the right instructions. When you ask yourself, why can't I succeed? Your mind will dutifully find all the reasons why you can't. But if you ask, how can I succeed? Your mind will work tirelessly to find the answers. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. The 4 levels of thinking. There are 4 levels of thinking that determine your results in life. Understanding these levels is crucial to taking control of your mind. Level 1 is what I call negative thinking. This is where most people lie. They focus on what's wrong, what they don't have, what could go wrong. They say things like, I can't afford it, that won't work for me, I'm not lucky. This kind of thinking leads to mediocre results at best and complete failure at worst. Level 2 is neutral thinking. This is slightly better than negative thinking, but it's still not going to create the success you desire. Neutral thinkers say things like, let's wait and see, maybe it will work out, I'm not sure if I can do it. They're not actively sabotaging themselves, but they're not programming their minds for success either. Level 3 is positive thinking. Now we're getting somewhere. Positive thinkers say things like, I can figure this out. There must be a way. I believe in myself. This level of thinking opens you up to possibilities and solutions. But there's an even higher level, and it's level 4 possibility thinking. This is where the magic happens. Possibility thinkers ask, what if? They say things like, how can I make this happen? What would it look like if this succeeded beyond my wildest dreams? How can I turn this problem into an opportunity? Possibility thinking is what allowed Steve Jobs to envision the iPhone before anyone else could see it. It's what enabled Elon Musk to believe he could land rockets back on Earth and reuse them. It's what lets ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. The good news is that you get to choose which level you operate from, and that choice will determine everything else in your life. The process of mental reprogramming. So how do you take control of your mind? How do you reprogram it for success? Let me share with you a process that has worked for thousands of my students over the years. Step 1 is awareness. You need to become conscious of your current thinking patterns. Most people never do this. They let thoughts flow through their minds without ever examining them. But you can't change what you're not aware of. Start paying attention to your self-talk. What do you say to yourself when you face a challenge? What's your immediate reaction when an opportunity presents itself? What beliefs do you hold about money, success, relationships, and your own capabilities? Just becoming aware of your thoughts puts you ahead of 95% of people. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room, suddenly you can see what you're dealing with. Step 2 is evaluation. Once you're aware of your thoughts, you need to evaluate them. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is it moving me toward my goals or away from them? Is it based on truth or just assumption? Most of the limiting beliefs we hold aren't even our own original thoughts. They're ideas we picked up from parents, teachers, friends, or society. And many of them simply aren't true. For example, maybe you believe making money requires hard work and struggle. Is that true? Well, look around. There are plenty of people who make extraordinary incomes doing what they love, what comes naturally to them. Their work doesn't feel like hard work because they're in their element. Or perhaps you believe I'm not good at public speaking. Is that an immutable truth or just a story you've been telling yourself? Maybe you're not good at it yet, but with proper training and practice you could become excellent. Step 3 is replacement. Once you've identified limiting beliefs, you need to replace them with empowering ones. This is where the real brainwashing comes in. For every negative thought, create a positive alternative. If you catch yourself thinking, this is too hard, replace it with, I'm figuring this out step by step. If you think I always mess things up, replace it with, I learn and improve with every attempt. But it's not enough to do this once or twice. Repetition is the mother of skill and also of belief. You need to repeat your new thoughts until they become your default programming. The power of affirmations. This is where affirmations come in. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical about affirmations. You might think they're just feel-good nonsense. But let me tell you, there's solid psychology behind them. Affirmations are simply statements that affirm what you want to be true. They're designed to replace negative thoughts with positive ones through repetition. The key is to make your affirmation specific, personal, present tense, and emotion-based. For example, instead of saying, I will be successful someday, say, I am confidently building my successful business day by day, and it feels amazing. When you repeat affirmations with emotion and conviction, they begin to sink into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. It simply accepts what you tell it repeatedly. I recommend writing down your affirmations and reading them aloud twice daily, once in the morning to set your mental tone for the day, and once in the evening to program your subconscious while you sleep. But here's the critical part that most people miss. Affirmations must be combined with action. If you affirm that you're building a successful business, you better be taking steps to make that happen. Otherwise, your mind will recognize the disconnect, and the affirmations will lose their power. The environment of your mind. You know, we're all affected by our environment more than we realize. If you live in a cluttered, chaotic space, it's hard to have a clear, focused mind. If you're surrounded by negative, complaining people, it's difficult to maintain a positive outlook. The same principle applies to your mental environment. What are you feeding your mind on a daily basis? What goes in must come out. If you start your day by watching the news, which is predominantly negative, you're programming your mind with problems, disasters, and fears. If you spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel, you're setting yourself up for discontent. Instead, be intentional about your mental diet. Start your day with inspiring content, a motivational book, an educational podcast, or uplifting music. Fill your mind with ideas and images that pull you toward your goals. And be equally intentional about what you keep out. You wouldn't eat food from the garbage, so why would you consume mental garbage? Limit exposure to negative news, toxic people, and time-wasting entertainment. Remember, what you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you'll find more opportunities. It's not that one exists and the other doesn't, they both do. But you'll experience more of whatever you give your attention to. The power of visualization. Another powerful technique for controlling your mind is visualization. Olympic athletes use it. Top performers in every field use it, and you should too. Visualization is simply creating vivid mental images of what you want to achieve. When you visualize, you're essentially giving your subconscious mind a blueprint to work from. For example, if you're preparing for a presentation, spend time visualizing yourself delivering it with confidence and skill. See yourself standing tall, speaking clearly, the audience engaged and responsive. Feel the satisfaction of finishing to enthusiastic applause. This isn't daydreaming or wishful thinking, it's mental rehearsal, and it's incredibly effective. Studies have shown that visualization activates many of the same neural pathways as actually performing the activity. I recommend spending 10 to 15 minutes each day visualizing your goals as already achieved. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? The more vivid and emotional your visualization, the more powerful it will be. And here's a pro tip. Visualize not just the end result, but also the process of getting there. See yourself taking the necessary steps, overcoming obstacles, learning and growing along the way. The habit of thought control. Now, all of these techniques, awareness, evaluation, replacement, affirmations, managing your mental environment, visualization, they're not one-time events. They're practices, habits that you need to develop and maintain. You see, controlling your mind isn't something you do once and then you're set for life. It's something you do continuously, just like physical exercise or eating well. The good news is that it gets easier with practice. When you first start monitoring your thoughts, it might seem overwhelming. You might be shocked at how many negative or limiting thoughts flow through your mind each day. But as you consistently practice replacing those thoughts, as you feed your mind positive, empowering content, as you visualize your success, it becomes more natural. Eventually, positive thinking becomes your default. It's like working out. The first time you go to the gym, those weights feel heavy, and you can barely do a few repetitions. But with consistent practice, you get stronger. What once seemed difficult becomes easy. The same is true with mental fitness. What starts as a conscious effort eventually becomes an unconscious habit. The compound effect of thought. Let me tell you something important about this process. It's subject to the compound effect. Small, consistent actions taken over time lead to massive results. When you first start controlling your thoughts, you might not see immediate changes in your external circumstances. This is where most people give up. They think this positive thinking stuff doesn't work. I've been doing it for a week and nothing's changed. But that's like planting a seed and then digging it up the next day because it hasn't grown into a tree yet. All success takes time. What you don't see in those early days is what's happening beneath the surface. Your new thought patterns are taking root. They're beginning to influence your emotions, which influence your actions, which will eventually change your results. Give the process time to work. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories. Notice the subtle shifts in how you feel, how you respond to challenges, how you interact with others. And remember, you're not just changing your thoughts for a day or a week or a month. You're changing them for a lifetime. This is about creating a new you from the inside out. The role of goals in mind control. Now, let me talk about the importance of goals in this process. You see, your mind needs direction. It needs something to focus on, to move toward. Without clear goals, your thoughts will wander aimlessly, often defaulting to worries, regrets, or idle fantasies. But when you have specific written goals, your mind has a job to do. It will naturally begin to think about how to achieve those goals. I recommend setting goals in all major areas of your life: career, finances, relationships, health, personal development, and contribution. Write them down, be specific, and include deadlines. But here's the key: review those goals daily. Keep them in front of you. Make them part of your morning routine. This constant reminder programs your subconscious to be on the lookout for opportunities, ideas, and resources that can help you achieve those goals. And as you review your goals, visualize them as already accomplished. Feel the emotions of achievement. This combination of clear direction and emotional reinforcement is incredibly powerful for controlling your mind. The discipline of focus. One of the greatest challenges in controlling your mind is maintaining focus. We live in a world of unprecedented distraction. Between smartphones, social media, streaming services, and the 24/7 news cycle, there's always something competing for your attention. But here's the truth: what you focus on determines your reality, and you have the power to choose your focus. Successful people have mastered the art of selective focus. They know how to concentrate on what matters and filter out what isn't. They understand that attention is a limited resource and they invest it wisely. I recommend practicing what I call dedicated focus time. Set aside periods each day. It could be 30 minutes or an hour where you eliminate all distractions and focus entirely on one important task or goal. Turn off notifications, put your phone in another room if necessary, and train your mind to stay on track. This isn't easy at first. Your mind will resist. It will try to pull you toward easier, more immediately gratifying activities. But with practice, your focus muscle will strengthen and you'll develop greater control over your thoughts. The power of questions. Another powerful technique for controlling your mind is asking better questions. The human mind is constantly answering questions, whether we're consciously aware of them or not. Most people ask themselves disempowering questions like, why does this always happen to me? What's wrong with me? Why can't I ever get ahead? And their minds dutifully provide answers. Because you're unlucky, because you're not smart enough, because the system is rigged against you. But what if you ask better questions? What if you asked, what can I learn from this situation? How can I use this challenge to grow stronger? What opportunities am I not seeing yet? These questions direct your mind toward solutions rather than problems, toward growth rather than victimhood, toward possibility rather than limitation. I suggest creating a list of empowering questions and reviewing them daily. When you face a challenge, pull out this list and let these questions guide your thinking. Over time, asking better questions will become automatic, and your mind will naturally move toward more empowering thought patterns. The inner circle of influence. Now, let's talk about something that has an enormous impact on your thinking. The people you surround yourself with. Jim Rohn, that's me, is famous for saying you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And it's true. The people around you shape your thinking, your beliefs, your standards, and ultimately your results. If you're surrounded by negative, complaining people who are going nowhere in life, it's incredibly difficult to maintain a positive, success-oriented mindset. Their thinking will inevitably influence yours. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with positive, ambitious, growing individuals, their thinking will elevate yours. Their standards will become your standards. Their success will inspire your success. Take a serious look at your inner circle. Are these people lifting you up or pulling you down? Do they support your goals or subtly undermine them? Do they challenge you to think bigger or encourage you to play it safe? You may need to make some difficult decisions about who you spend time with. This doesn't mean you have to cut people out of your life entirely, but you might need to limit your exposure to negative influences while seeking out more positive ones. Join mastermind groups, attend personal development seminars, find mentors who have achieved what you want to achieve. Your environment shapes your thinking, so create an environment that supports the mind you want to have. The power of decisions. Let's talk about decisions. Every day you make thousands of decisions, large and small. What to eat for breakfast, what route to take to work, what to say in that difficult conversation, whether to stick with your exercise routine or skip it just this once. Most people don't realize that these decisions aren't just about the immediate choice at hand. They're about who you're becoming. Every decision is a vote for the person you want to be. When you decide to wake up early and meditate instead of hitting the snooze button, you're not just making a decision about that morning. You're reinforcing a self-image as someone who is disciplined and values personal growth. When you choose to have the difficult conversation instead of avoiding it, you're not just addressing that specific issue. You're strengthening your identity as someone who faces challenges directly. Successful people make decisions based on their values and long-term goals, not their momentary feelings or circumstances. They understand that true freedom comes not from avoiding difficult choices, but from making them decisively and living with the results. I encourage you to become more conscious of your daily decisions. Ask yourself, is this choice aligned with the person I want to become? Is it moving me toward my goals or away from them? Let your values and vision guide your decisions, not your fears or temporary discomfort. The art of self-talk. We've touched on this already, but let's delve deeper into the art of self-talk. The ongoing conversation you have with yourself is perhaps the most important factor in controlling your mind. Most people have extremely negative self-talk. They're constantly criticizing themselves, doubting themselves, talking themselves out of opportunities before they even try. They would never speak to a friend the way they speak to themselves. If you want to change your life, start by changing your self-talk. Become your own best coach, not your worst critic. When you make a mistake, don't berate yourself. Instead, say something like, "That didn't work out as planned. What can I learn from this? How can I better next time?" When facing a challenge, don't tell yourself, "This is too hard. I can't do it." Instead, say, "This is difficult, but I'm capable of figuring it out. I've overcome challenges before, and I can do it again." Pay attention to the words you use, both in your thoughts and in your speech. Words like always, never, impossible, and can't are disempowering. Replace them with words like sometimes, learning, challenging, and figuring it out. And remember, your self-talk isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's about actively encouraging yourself, acknowledging your progress, celebrating your wins, and reminding yourself of your strengths and capabilities. The practice of gratitude. One of the most powerful ways to control your mind is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is like a reset button for your thinking. It's impossible to feel grateful and negative at the same time. When you're focused on what's wrong, what's missing, or what could go wrong, your mind spirals into worry, fear, and limitation. But when you focus on what's good, what you have, and what's working, your mind opens up to possibility, opportunity, and abundance. Start each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big things like your health or your family, or small things like the cup of coffee you're enjoying or the beautiful sunrise. The key is to feel the gratitude, not just intellectually acknowledge it. Throughout the day, look for things to appreciate. When someone does something kind for you, take a moment to really feel the gratitude. When something goes well, pause and acknowledge it. When you face a challenge, find a hidden gift or lesson within it. This isn't about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing where to place your focus. And when you focus on gratitude, you train your mind to see the good, the possible, and the abundant in all situations. The power of purpose. Let's talk about purpose. A mind without purpose will wander aimlessly, often toward negative territories. But a mind directed by a clear and compelling purpose has incredible power. Your purpose is your why, the reason you get up in the morning, the impact you want to have, the legacy you want to leave. It's bigger than any individual goal. It's the thread that connects all your goals and gives them meaning. When you have a strong sense of purpose, it becomes a filter for your thoughts. Negative, limiting thoughts that don't serve your purpose are easier to recognize and replace. Positive, empowering thoughts that align with your purpose are naturally reinforced. If you don't yet have a clear sense of purpose, start by asking yourself these questions. What do I love to do? What am I good at? What does the world need? How can I serve others using my unique gifts and passions? Your answers will point you toward your purpose. And once you have that North Star, controlling your mind becomes not just a discipline, but a natural extension of living your purpose. The journey of mental mastery. As we begin to wrap up, I want to emphasize that controlling your mind is not a destination, it's a journey. You won't wake up one day with perfect control over every thought. That's not the goal. The goal is progress, not perfection. It's about becoming more conscious of your thoughts day by day. It's about catching negative patterns more quickly and replacing them more effectively. It's about strengthening your mental muscles so that positive, empowering thoughts become your default. There will be days when your old thought patterns reassert themselves. There will be challenges that temporarily knock you off course. That's part of the process, part of being human. The key is not to get discouraged or to use these setbacks as evidence that this doesn't work. Instead, view them as opportunities to practice your mental control. Each time you catch a negative thought and replace it, you're building your skill. Each time you choose your focus deliberately, you're strengthening your mental muscles. The transformation of identity. Let me share one more crucial aspect of controlling your mind, the transformation of your identity. All lasting change happens at the level of identity, how you see yourself, who you believe you are. You can change your behaviors temporarily through willpower and discipline. But for those changes to stick, they must become part of your identity. You must move from I'm trying to think more positively to I am a positive thinker. From I'm working on being more confident to I am a confident person. This shift happens gradually through consistent thought patterns and actions that reinforce your new self-image. Every time you successfully control your thoughts, every time you take action despite fear, every time you persist despite challenges, you're building evidence for your new identity. Affirm this new identity daily. Say to yourself, I am someone who controls their thoughts rather than being controlled by them. I am someone who focuses on solutions, not problems. I am someone who sees opportunity in every difficulty. And then act in alignment with that identity. Make decisions as that person would make them. Speak as that person would speak. React to challenges as that person would react. Over time, this new identity becomes natural. You no longer have to try to control your thoughts. It becomes who you are. The ultimate reward. The ultimate reward of controlling your mind is not just success as the world defines it, although that will likely come as a byproduct. The ultimate reward is freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of negative thinking. Freedom from the limitations of fear and doubt. Freedom from the prison of your past programming. When you control your mind, you control your life. You become the author of your story rather than a character reacting to circumstances. You create your reality rather than merely experiencing it. And in that freedom, you discover just how capable, powerful, and extraordinary you truly are. You discover that the only limits in your life are the ones you accept in your thinking. And once you remove those limits, your life expands in ways you might never have imagined. Your call to action. So what now? You've heard the principles, the techniques, the strategies for controlling your mind. But information without action is useless. Knowledge not applied becomes merely trivia. I challenge you to commit to this process of mental transformation. Start today, not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are perfect. Today. Begin with awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts for the next 24 hours. Notice the patterns, the recurring themes, the areas where negativity tends to creep in. Create a morning routine that sets your mental tone for the day. Include affirmations, visualization, goal review, and gratitude. It doesn't have to be long. Even 15 to 20 minutes can make a profound difference. Choose one area of your thinking to focus on transforming first. Maybe it's your thoughts about money, or your belief in your capabilities, or your expectations about relationships. Start there, then expand to other areas. Find an accountability partner, someone who shares your commitment to personal growth and will support you in this journey of mental mastery. And finally, track your progress. Keep a journal of your thoughts, your breakthroughs, your setbacks, and your growth. This record will not only keep you accountable, but will also provide evidence of your transformation over time. The ultimate investment. Remember, the greatest investment you'll ever make is not in stocks, real estate, or business ventures. It's the investment you make in your mind. Because your mind controls everything else: your emotions, your actions, your results, and ultimately, your destiny. When you learn to control your mind, when you master the art of directing your thoughts rather than being directed by them, you gain the ultimate competitive advantage in life. You gain the ability to create your own reality rather than merely accepting the one handed to you. So, my friends, begin this journey of mental mastery. Commit to it fully. Give it the time and attention it deserves. And watch as your life transforms from the inside out. You have within you right now everything you need to become the person you dream of being. The power is in your mind. Learn to control it, and you control your destiny. Thank you.